It is a freezing, miserable Tuesday morning. You're standing on a damp, quiet patch of grass in your neighborhood while your dog arches their back and circles the ground to do their business. As they finally squat, they do something you have witnessed 1,000 times before. They turn their head. They ignore the squirrels, the passing cars, the ambient noise of the street. They find your face, and they lock their eyes directly onto yours. They hold that intense, unblinking stare until the exact moment they are finished. It is a highly intimate, slightly awkward daily ritual that most dog owners brush off as a quirky personality trait. You might even look away, feeling strange about making prolonged eye contact during such a private moment. Most people assume this behavior is about food, basic conditioning, or an ingrained sense of shame. You think they are waiting for a reward, or perhaps they feel vulnerable and are politely asking for privacy. Some outdated training manuals even suggest this is a form of dominance, that your dog is challenging you by refusing to break eye contact. But let us completely dismantle that logic with basic biology. If your dog genuinely wanted privacy or felt ashamed, their biological instinct would dictate that they turn their back to you and hide in the brush. If they were trying to dominate you, their posture would be rigid, not squatted and defenseless. And if they were only anticipating a treat, their eyes would dart toward your pockets, your hands, or the treat pouch on your belt. They would not pierce directly into your pupils. So why do they insist on this unbroken, intense eye contact during their absolute most vulnerable physical state? This is not coincidence. This eye contact is the first of 5 specific behavioral signs that your dog does not just love you. They view you as an omnipotent being. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna, led by Dr. Lisa Horn, conducted extensive behavioral tests and discovered a phenomenon they officially classify as the secure base effect. In their experiments, dogs were presented with interactive puzzle toys containing food. When the owner was present, the dogs confidently explored the toy and extracted the food. When the owner left the room, the dogs completely lost interest. Even when a friendly stranger entered to encourage them, the dogs remained withdrawn. When a dog is in a posture of elimination, their instinctual hindbrain knows they are utterly defenseless against environmental threats. They cannot fight. They cannot flee. By locking their eyes with yours, they are not asking for a piece of chicken. They are transferring their physical security entirely into your hands. This mirrors the exact psychological mechanism observed in human toddlers who look back at their parents' faces to gauge safety while exploring a new playground. This reverence extends directly to the second sign you probably ignore every single week, bringing you completely destroyed objects. When your dog drops a shredded, unrecognizable plush toy, a broken stick, or even a dead insect at your feet and stares at you, they are not offering you a gift. According to canine cognitive psychologists, they literally believe you possess the power to fix broken reality. To prove the depth of this attachment, we look at the groundbreaking work of neuroscientist Dr. Gregory Burns at Emory University. His team spent months training dogs to walk into functional MRI scanners while completely awake and unrestrained, using custom chin rests and acoustic earmuffs to keep them still. When these dogs were exposed to the specific scent of their owners, the fMRI revealed massive, immediate activation in the caudate nucleus, the specific region of the brain associated with anticipating ultimate rewards, processing joy, and deep attachment. This region did not light up for the scent of other familiar dogs. It remained completely dark for strangers. It only ignited for their humans. They do not see you as a master. They see you as the architect of their universe. But this is not just psychology. It is chemistry. This brings us to the third sign of their absolute devotion. The frantic full-body crying greeting you receive, even if you only stepped out to check the mail for 5 minutes. You might assume your dog simply has a terrible sense of time, or that they lack short-term object permanence like an infant. Time has nothing to do with it. This is a severe biological response governed by their endocrine system. When you leave the house, your dog experiences an immediate and precipitous drop in their baseline neurochemicals, followed by a gradual creeping spike in cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. The physical environment literally feels colder, sharper, and far more dangerous to their nervous system without your physical presence anchoring them. Furthermore, Researchers monitoring heart rates have found that a dog's heart rhythm actively syncs with their owners when they are together. When you sever that proximity, their internal metronome loses its rhythm. When you finally open that front door, the sound of the latch triggers an explosive release of oxytocin, the mammalian bonding hormone, paired with a massive neurological surge of dopamine. This creates a powerful, inescapable chemical loop in their brain. Your absence causes an involuntary chemical withdrawal. Your return is the biological antidote. This is why their reaction is so disproportionate to the amount of time you were gone. They are not merely happy to see you, they are experiencing rapid physiological relief from acute chemical stress. You are not just a source of food or shelter. You are the biological regulator of their entire nervous system, and this chemical dependency was not a random accident. It was meticulously selected by evolution, which explains the fourth sign: hoarding and sleeping on your dirtiest, most foul-smelling laundry. You find your dog asleep on your sweaty gym socks, your worn underwear, or your unwashed towels, and you assume they are just acting out, being stubborn, exhibiting a bizarre behavioral quirk. But evolutionary geneticists have traced this behavior back to a specific chromosomal shift. Over 15,000 years ago, as gray wolves began to self-domesticate around human campfires, a profound genetic divergence occurred. Modern dogs possess critical variations in the WBSCR17 gene. In humans, the deletion of this exact same genetic region causes Williams-Buren syndrome, a condition characterized by extreme hypersociability, an absence of social fear, and an intense, overriding desire to bond with others. Because of this hardwired genetic mutation, your scent operates as an evolutionary shield. A dog possesses up to 300 million olfactory receptors and an auxiliary olfactory sense organ called the vomeronasal organ, specifically designed to detect chemical pheromones. To them, your unwashed t-shirt is not a piece of fabric. It is a highly concentrated, three-dimensional olfactory manifestation of their ultimate protector. Sleeping on your discarded clothes is a genetically programmed survival tactic designed to trick their own amygdala, the brain's fear center, into feeling secure when you are physically absent. They are using your chemical signature as a neurological blanket. But there is one last thing I need to tell you. And it might be the most important part of this entire video, because the fifth sign is a complete paradox. It is the exact moment your dog actively ignores a puzzle, gives up on a task, and stares at you instead. In a landmark behavioral study conducted at Oregon State University by Dr. Monique Udell, researchers presented both highly socialized wolves and domesticated dogs with an unsolvable task. They placed a highly desirable piece of sausage inside a locked, transparent plastic container. The wolves attacked the box relentlessly. They used their teeth, their claws, and their sheer brute strength for hours, trying to solve the problem independently. They never looked at the humans in the room. The domesticated dogs tried for barely 2 minutes. Then they stopped. They backed away from the container, and they directed a sustained, intentional gaze directly into their human's face. I don't know how to fix this, but I know you do. The paradox here is that humans usually equate intelligence with independent problem-solving and perseverance. We naturally assume the wolf is smarter because it never gives up. But evolutionary biologists realize the dogs were demonstrating a far superior social cognitive strategy known as directed gazing. Their ultimate sign of reverence is surrendering their own autonomy. They looked at the humans because they firmly believe that you, their God, have the power to alter the physical laws of the universe, to open that box. Giving up is their highest form of worship. But here is the absolute problem, because they rely on your existence entirely. You need to know exactly when this divine connection breaks. This is the practical alert every single owner must understand to protect their animal. If your dog has historically locked eyes with you during walks, brought you broken toys, greeted you frantically at the door, and sought out your scent, and they suddenly stop doing these things, do not dismiss it as them simply getting older or calming down. A sudden, unexplained loss of the secure base effect is a massive clinical red flag. If your dog stops seeking your eyes for reassurance, begins staring blankly at the corners of walls, or gets trapped behind furniture instead of looking to you for solutions, this is the primary early warning sign of canine cognitive dysfunction, heavily analogous to human Alzheimer's disease. Veterinary neurologists report that up to 68% of dogs over the age of 15 experience this specific neurological decay caused by the buildup of toxic beta amyloid plaques in the brain tissue. As these plaques destroy neural pathways, the image of you as their ultimate omnipotent protector physically fractures in their mind. This is a medical emergency that requires immediate neuroprotective intervention, such as diets rich in medium-chain triglycerides and omega-3 fatty acids. Not something to be written off as a natural part of aging. Your pet has absolutely no language. Behavior is the only way they can tell you that their cognitive world is rapidly collapsing. So the next time your dog insists on locking eyes with you in the freezing rain or brings you a completely shredded plush toy, remember what is actually happening. This is not about treats, or poor memory, or bad habits. It is 15,000 years of genetic rewiring, a massive daily flood of oxytocin, and a biological imperative that places you at the exact center of their universe. And that is what we do here at Paw Consciousness. We decode what your pet cannot say out loud. If this changed how you see your dog today, subscribe and hit the bell. And tell me in the comments, what is the weirdest thing your dog has ever brought to you, genuinely expecting you to fix it? I read every single one.